Hi guys, it's Joanne here. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to catch the busts as requested by you, my viewers. So, if you're interested in something like this, please watch this video to the end to see how I achieved all of this. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always sticking around. If you're new here and you're just seeing this video or my video, please thank you so much for being here. Kindly click on the subscribe button, turn your post notification bell for more videos. So now, let's get into the tutorial. So to catch the bus, first and foremost, you need something like this, like your bustier. So this is the half length of the bustier part that I already drafted and sewn. So you need something like this, and this is what I have. So as you can see, this is the wrong side, and I have here the wrong side, and if I turn this, is going to be the right side, as you can see here. So I also open up this seams here and I ironed it flat. So after sewing, I notched the seam area and I opened it up and ironed it. So I expect you to do something like this, okay? Now I'm going to begin with the markings. All right, so I had to use this red marker for this purpose. I'm not going to be using this bustier anyway. So this is the lining piece. So if you're caging your bust, you're going to cage it on the lining piece, okay, not on the fashion fabric. So what I'm marking here is my under bust. So please notch the under your under bust area, because if you notch it, it's going to be very easy for you to detect where your under bust is, okay, because you really need your under bust. You don't want to go anywhere beyond your underbust or below your underbust. It has to be exactly on your underbust, because the purpose of this is for it to lift your boobs, okay? So now after marking the underbust, I'm going to come here to take note of the bust point area, okay? So I also advise that you also take notes, not the bust point area when you're drafting this and when you're transferring this to fabric, so you will know. You don't need to do any guesswork here, all right? So you don't need to do any guesswork around this part so you don't miss it. So after noting the bust points area, I'm going to simply, you know, draw this line across here and over here as well, okay? So just making a line here. This lines here will serve as a guide for me to know where I'm supposed to be placing my boning channel. So when we get to that stage, you will understand what I'm doing here. So after this, I'm going to note the midpoint of the center like this, okay? So note the midpoint of the center by taking the entire measurement and just do what I'm doing here. Then you divide that measurement by 2 like I've done here. So also on the underbust area, also do the same thing. Note the midpoints, take the measurement and note the midpoint like this. So after this, I'm going to simply connect these 2 points all the way to the neckline. All right, so note the midpoint like this and rule a line. So after doing this, you should have something like this. So next thing is to come here from the center line, come in by 1 inch and also do the same thing on this other side. All right, so 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on the other side. So for you, you may want to do 1.5 inches or 1.025. Okay, so it's totally fine. And after doing that, I had to connect these 2 points into a straight line. Now, having done that, on this top part here, I'm going to come down here from the neckline by half of an inch. Okay, so you will not want your boning to get to where you're going to be joining these to the fashion fabric. So that's why I came down here by half of an inch, and I'm connecting this to me to these lines I drew earlier. Okay, so just do what I'm doing here. Okay, so now if you have a bigger bust, you want to create more boning channels. All right, so it depends on how you want it. You may want to have more boning channels. It doesn't mean it will still come out very fine. All right, so on this side here, I am going to be coming out here by about 4 inches. All right, so now if your bust is bigger, you want to do about, let's say, 4.5 to 5. So what I just marked there is the allowance I kept for this bustier part. Okay, that's the sewing allowance. So you want to indicate the allowance so that you know where you're supposed to place your body channels to, like, so it doesn't get to the allowance, to the sewing allowance. I hope you understand what I'm saying here. So after that, I connected from this top part to somewhere around here, because when I'm attaching the body, it will be too curvy. You wouldn't want it to be, to get to that 4 inches part I marked earlier. Okay, so I also connected on the under bust. So if you measure what I did here, okay, it's going to be about 2 inches. All right, like if you measure this from here, it's going to be about 2 inches. I'm going to also do the same thing on this part, ensuring that everything is as aligned. Okay, so I'm going to leave about 2 inches from this line here. Okay, so that's basically it. Then on the other bust, what I did here, this is about 1.5. So I'm going to do the same thing here and connect it from the under bust, ensuring it doesn't exceed 1.5 inches. So everything has to be equal. So whatever you do on this part, you have to do the same thing on this other part. I hope you understand what I am doing here. So like I said, you can even have more body channels here. Okay, you can have another body channel here. Okay, so I'm going to place another body channel on this, on the bustier part, that's the joining part. Sorry, so for this center part, I'm not going to be joining it to all the way to the neckline. So these are the areas I'm going to be passing my channels, my body channels. Okay, so for you, if you want to have more body channels, you can also come in here from the line I marked by 1 inch. Okay, and place another body to that. That's if you have a bigger bust. You can even cross another one here from the center to the under bust. Divide that measurement into two and cross another one here all the way. So yeah, that's basically it on the boning channel. So like I said, if you want to have more boning channels, you're free to do that. Okay, so this is the Regiline boning I'm going to be using. So you want to use something like this, please don't use the rubber or the steel boning. Okay, so use something like this for to achieve this. Okay, so this is how I'm going to be placing this. All right, so when we get to that stage, I'm going to be showing you all the processes. Okay, so I'm going to take this to my sewing machine now and start sewing this. Welcome to the sewing machine. So I'm going to start by placing the boning channels and ensure the boning. Sorry, I'm going to start by placing the boning on the part that I stitched earlier. Okay, this part that I joined to form the bustier. So use a paper tape like this to secure the rough edges so you don't have this boning poking you or your clients. Okay, so I'm going to be placing this on this part that I joined to form my bustier. All right, so place this like this, open up the seam. This is why you should open up your seams and iron properly. Okay, so place it this way, and you're going to just start sewing this. By the time you've noticed the where you're supposed to be making the stitch, ending the stitch, you cut out your boning just like I've done here. Okay, I'm going to also place a paper tape here. I advise you secure this with your paper tape. So but I only did secured with a paper tape on just this one because I'm not going to be using this bustier anyways. Okay, so I just did this for the purpose of the tutorial. So guys, please follow what I'm doing and see the way I placed the boning. Ensure you place it exactly like this. So for the body, you want to sew it very close to the edge, okay, so you don't break your needle. All right, and when you're sewing this, you want to be gentle with it, don't rush. And as you're sewing, open up the seam, ensure that the body is rightly placed. Okay, ensure the body is passing on in between the seams. Okay, open up the seam. This is, don't just sew, just be opening up the seam and also straighten the fabric. All right, straighten the fabric as you go so that you avoid it coming out twisted. I hope you understand. You don't want to have it twisted, as you can see here. So I'm going to turn this around and also stitch this other end, this other part. Okay, ensure you stitch it close to the end of the body or the regline body. Okay, so as you're stitching, you're seeing what I'm doing here. Please ensure your fabric is not folded on the right side. Okay, so yeah, this is it. So after stitching, as we go, you're going to see the shape come out. You're going to see it taking that form. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for this part. Okay, while I was sewing this earlier, the thread I was working with had to cut, so that's why I'm resewing this part, if you're wondering. Okay, so yeah, so this is what I have on the right side. You can see here that the fabric is not folded on the right side. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for this other part here. So place your boning rightly, and you're going to be sewing it close to the edge. All right, so keep going gently, don't be in a haste. All right, don't be in a haste. So after sewing that part, also turn to this other part and sew. Okay, so like I said, as you're sewing, please ensure that your fabric is not twisted on the right side. This is very important because if it comes out twisted, it will shorten your measurement, and moreover, you will not have a neat finish. Okay, so I love having a neat finish whatever I'm sewing. It is very important. So as we go, you're going to see this take that shape. All right, so next part I'm going to be attaching the boning is on the center part. All right, so I'm going to be attaching the boning this way. So I'm taking this to start sewing now. So just like I did, ensure that you place this on the line on the line you drew. Okay, so that is why it is very important for you to mark wherever you're going to be placing your boning channel. And please, if you're doing this, please don't use a marker. You can go ahead and use a pencil. All right, you can use a pencil for this. Don't use a marker, please. So after sewing, I'm going to also turn to this other side and also run a stitch. So you want to take it easy, okay, when you're sewing this. If not, you have your thread cutting and recutting. So take it easy while you're sewing this and sew close to the edge of the regline body. Okay, so you can see here that it's taking shape, like I said. So the next mini channel I'll run will be here. Okay, So I'm just cutting the edges out, and I'm going to be placing this like this from here. I'm going to be placing it to this part here. Okay, just follow what I'm doing here, and please, I hope you can see clearly. Watch what I'm doing here and follow whether we should have something like this, guys. So when I got to that part, I had to cut it out because it was kind of difficult to work with. Okay, I would advise you get boning of about 0.25 in width. Okay, with that one, it will be very difficult for you to cross this. Okay, for you to curve it the way you want. So it was very difficult to work with this one because this one I'm using here is about 0.4 in width. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Now after doing that, as you can see here, this is how it is. I'm going to also, you know connect this from here. All right, I'm going to run a booting from here also, like join it to where I ran the upper one, the other one on this other one on the upper part. I'm going to overlap it there, and I'm going to simply run it all the way to the underboss. So this part, you're going to be careful about it. Okay, when you're joining this part, because yeah, it is very curvy around this area, so you're going to be careful about it and take it easy as you go. Just take it easy, don't be fast, don't be too fast to finish this up. Take it easy and follow the lines you drew. Okay, so when I got to the underboss, I had to cut this body, the excess body channel out. I will not be needing those ones for now. So yeah, so I'm going to turn to this other side and also run a stitch. Yeah, so what I did here, I am going to do the same thing on this part. All right, I'm going to do exactly the same thing on this part here. Okay, so I have done it, and this is what I have. This is how it is. You can see the the bust is caging really, but I am going to place this on the under bust. Okay, so we still have like one body channel to run, so I'm going to place this like this. Okay, right on the under bust, place it right and on the under bust. From this end here, I'm going to start sewing this, and please note that the body should not exceed the under bust. Okay, the under bust line that you drew, please make sure it is, the edge of the bone is exactly on the under bust line. Okay, hope you understand. So just watch what I'm doing here. What I did was that I did not place the boning to exceed the under bust line, so the edge of the boning was exactly on the under bust line. Okay, so that way you have your boning exactly on your under bust line, because the aim here is for it to pack your bust, okay, your boobs. Hope you understand what I'm saying here. Okay, so I'm going to turn to this other side and I'm going to also sew this other end. All right, I'm going to sew this other side here like so. So this is how it is. The next one will be to place it on the center part. Okay, so place it leaving one like half inch from the neckline. Okay, you can even leave about 0.75 inch from the neckline. Okay, so yeah, turn to this side and also sew. You can see our bust taking shape. Okay, so yeah, that's the essence of caging the bust. If you have a big breast and if you don't really want to pad your your bustier, you should do this. So yeah, this is it. So you can also run a booty channel from here. Okay, as you can see, like here and also here. Okay, so yeah, this is what I have here. And for this part, while I was measuring my body channel, I this became out shorter than what I needed. So please ensure you get to the part you're supposed to be stitching before you cut out your body channel. Okay, ensure you get to the part you're going to end your stitch before you cut out your body channel. You don't want to have anything missing. So yeah, this is basically it, and this is looking all beautiful. So I don't know what you think about this. Please drop in the comment section. So if you're going to make something like this, please drop in the comment section on how this came out. I expect it to come out this way, exactly like this, or even something more beautiful. So guys, thank you so much. I've come to the end of this tutorial and I am very happy to grant your request. See you guys in my next one.